Peace and blessings. Whitney B. Fit, how you doing? Magnanimous D, how you doing? Vega N 2020, how you doing? Peace and blessings. Aaliyah Burton, how you doing? Peace and blessings to you. Idiva, how you doing? Tinka Baby, how you doing? Whitney B. Fit says, just ordered your book and love what I've been reading. Good stuff. Catrice, how you doing? It's going so fast, man. Ernetta Caldwell, how you doing? Get well with Latoya. Latora, how you doing? Janelle Mason, how you doing? How's your detox going? I think it's day 2 for you. Miss V Boss, blessings to you as well. Chris Flies, how you doing? Empress Cola, how you doing? Candace C. Jones, peace and blessings to you. Spicy Diva, Debbie, Spicy Debbie, how you doing? Indeed, afternoon now. Tasha Matt 6, how you doing? Peace and blessings to you. Chas Denise, how you doing? Joanne Fields says she's on day 3 of the detox. How's it going for you? Retro Engineer, Anika, how you doing? Thank you for coming in here. Good to hear you. Good to hear from you. Sutton Kelly, how you doing? Phantom Z7, how you doing? Keena82 says the book is the truth. I love it. I read it again and again. Learned so much. Good stuff. Good stuff, man. Yeah, make sure you guys grab a copy if you don't have a copy of Vegetation Over Medication. Check it out on my site or on Amazon. And if you love the book, please, please, please go to Amazon and leave a review. Even if you didn't purchase it on Amazon, but you're an Amazon customer, you still can look up the book and leave a review. Janelle Mason says, yes, is great, thank you, referring to the detox. Oh man, we got a lot of people in here today. Chris Fly says, day 4, 14, finding the rhythm within the detox, reading the book while detoxing. That's perfect, to actually read the book while you're detoxing. It sort of fortifies the reason why you detox. In chapter 2, where I talk about the accumulation of toxicity, but it also fortifies the reason why you eat the way you do during the detox. The detox is basically herbal teas. So you can see in the back here, right there above my finger, that's my herbal detox. It's 2 herbal blends. One is a parasite candida cleanse that's designed to detoxify your liver, your kidneys, and your lymphatic system and your blood. To get rid of parasites and yeast out of the body, which steals a lot of our minerals. And then we have my Tommy Detox, which is designed to cleanse out the entire digestive tract. So that's what the detox is about. And during the detox, you eat a plant-based diet. So no meat, no dairy, no processed foods. So essentially just, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. So Jim Jr. 1, how's it going? I'm doing great, brother. Peace and blessings to you. Blessed Green Chick says, drink 1, got 1 more to drink for the day. Good stuff. So you're drinking 2 herbal teas, so she's done with her first. The Multi-Mineral Plus will be restocked next month. All right, guys, so I want to quickly, let me see. Is it okay to drink 1, then drink the other right after? Separate them by at least 30 minutes. Don't drink them back to back. So yeah, separate them by 30 minutes. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the comments off because I wanna talk about something. And then I'll come back in here for a second, but I'm gonna turn the comments off for just a second. So turning off the comments so I can't see and won't be distracted. I just wanna talk about something for a second. Recently in the news, there was a African-American jogger that was killed while he was just jogging through the neighborhood, and two Caucasian gentlemen tracked him down and murdered him. He wasn't doing anything, only running through the neighborhood. And I just felt pushed to come on here and talk about it because, you know, I moved out of the country in 2013. This was like right after Trayvon Martin was killed, and a little bit after that. And when I moved out, there was this rash of like people, black men and women getting murdered while I was away living in Japan. And so, you know, for me, I was away out of the country for 5 years. And during that time, every time I was, you know, looking on my timeline, I was seeing another black person murdered, another black man murdered, another black woman murdered, either by police or by citizens, not in conflict with these people in most instances. When you look at the videos, it's like they're not in conflict. You know, they were either raising their hands or laying on the ground or just living and going about their own business and being murdered. And I don't use that term lightly, murdered, because it's not killed. A lot of times, you see in the news where they'll say the person was killed, but that's not the appropriate term. They were murdered. And it sickens me, man. This is one of the reasons, like, I didn't want to come back to the U.S. Like, I just didn't want to come back because there's so much hatred here. At times, there could be a lot of love, and I try to stay in that vibration as much as possible. But there's so many people with hatred here. And the unfortunate thing is the media quite often will publicize the hate over the love very easily. That's why I don't even watch the news. Watching the news is like asking to be depressed today. And it's asking for misinformation. And to think a young man with his whole life ahead of him, who was just simply trying to get exercise, was murdered just for jogging, it's just disgusting. And I want to say this, you know, the very unfortunate thing is that you have people coming out like Biden and all these kind of people saying charges need to be brought up. We shouldn't even be there. Like, when you murder somebody, you should be instantly jailed. Like, it's not up for discussion. It shouldn't be famous people calling for a government to do what is in the Constitution, what is law. And it's just disgusting, man, to live in a country where you could be shot down by a citizen or policeman for just being black. It's just disgusting, man. And I always, you know, somebody was asking me today, they were like, why do you think white men hate black people so much, or white people hate black people so much? And I was like, you know, it's people like that. It's not that they hate black people. You know what it is? People like that who murder black people, they hate themselves. It's not that they hate black people. They hate themselves. They're so disgusted with their own personal life that they're not strong enough to deal with their own self-hate. So what they do is they project their self-hate out onto other people. You understand? Like, they're projecting their thoughts and feelings for themselves out on someone else. And so they make black people the target of their own self-hate, and they call it, I don't like black people. But what it really is you don't like yourself when you do something like that. Let me give you the definition of the word hate. Hate is an intense hostility or aversion, usually derived from fear, anger, or sense of injury. Okay? Now let's examine the derived part, because they say that it's an intense hostility, usually derived, or it comes from fear. So let's think about it historically. What reason would, if this is a white man who hates black people, what reason do you have to fear a black man? When you look at the statistics, and this has been proven, ethnicities are quite often the perpetrators of their own ethnicity, meaning the majority of crimes that happen with black people actually come from black people. But guess what? The majority of crimes that happen with white people, guess what? It's other white people. So it's not that, even the science proves that it's not that we have a history as black men of killing white men, or white people in general. We don't have that history at all. So what fear do you have, even when it comes to not even like physical danger? When it comes to crimes like robbery, usually it's the same ethnicity. When it comes to theft, robbery, is usually from the same ethnicity, meaning even in the Asian communities, when there's a crime of, homicide, when there's a crime of theft, when there's a crime of burglary, any of those type of things, it usually occurs from the same ethnicity. So it being derived from fear, they have a fear of us? No, that's not. Anger. What would a white man have the need to be angry with black people for? Help me understand that. If you look at everything from a historical standpoint, if anything, history should make it such that black people would hate white people. But even when you look at that, that's not true. Like I grew up in the hood, and even when we had like that one white person that was in the hood, the truth is, like, people would embrace that one person, and we give him like a nickname like Dirty White Boy or something like that, and he'd be our dirty white boy. You know what I'm saying? If we gave him that nickname or whatever. So we, generally speaking, we don't have a hate. So there's no need for the anger or a sense of injury. As I said before, if you look at the statistics, ethnicities create crimes within their own ethnicity. So I just don't understand, like, the hate, man. Like, it's so ingrained and then passed down, meaning from generation to generation, they just pass down the hate. And then when you think about the leadership in this country, they embellish it. They not only embellish it in this country, the leadership in this country, or the so-called leadership in this country, they not only embellish it, but they actually encourage it in a lot of instances. And so I'm just disgusted. I'm disgusted that people have to make a rage on social media to call for the justice of somebody doing something that is insensible, inhumane, and just outright disgusting. And I just don't know what to think about this country at this point. I really don't. Like, it's such a, when I think about, I was away from America about 5 or 6 years. And by the 5th year, I literally started to miss being amongst my people. That was it. That's what brought me back. And the other thing that brought me back was I understand how important it is from a health standpoint. When you're healthy from within, that health then exudes outside of you. And I wanted to come back and be a source of inspiration for people. I wanted to be a source of motivation for becoming the highest version of yourself. But it's damn hard, man, when you come back and this type of shit happens. And to be able to watch it during a time like this. I'm just disgusted. I'm disgusted by the whole idea that, there's a class of people who want black people to be permanent second-class citizens. I'm disgusted by the socio-economic factors that are involved, not only in, acts of violence, but involved in, food being available, in neighborhoods that are impoverished by black and brown people. I'm disgusted by it. I'm disgusted by the fact that there's too many McDonald's and liquor stores in urban neighborhoods, and then you go into great neighborhoods and they don't even allow those type of places there. I'm just disgusted by that, but more so than anything, I'm disgusted by the fact that people think that they can take out acts of violence and and have no punishment come towards them. And so I'm just incensed by that. And I'm also incensed by the people who who are questioning the fact that, well, what did he do? Nobody deserves to die. Nobody deserves to die like that. Nobody, especially, an unarmed man. They just don't deserve to die like that. It's inhumane. And I think that's the part that people don't understand about this. You have people, even in the whole veganism movement, who care more about animals than people. The humanity of people starts with self. If you don't care about people, you can't care about animals. If you don't love yourself, how can you love somebody else? You understand? So from my perspective, this is a humanitarian issue. And I just don't know where we're at with this. But I'm always saying this. This is the importance of building our communities, especially our struggling urban communities. This is the importance of that. Because the importance is that our dollars do not circulate in our neighborhoods. And because they do not circulate, we can't build the community. And we don't own our homes. We got to own our homes. We got to own our schools. If we own our schools, we can properly teach our kids. If we own our homes, it means that we have taxes to pay, which means that we can go out and decide who is the sheriff so we can make him accountable when something like this happens. So the next term he's thrown out of office. We have to do something, man, because this can't continue to happen. This is modern day lynching. That's exactly what it is. It's modern day lynching. And I just don't know where we go from here. In terms of humanity, are you that bored that this is what gets you off? I just don't understand it at all. And so the last point I want to make is, if you know people like this, and I tell all my friends who are not black and brown, if you know people like this and you don't speak out, you're just as responsible. If you know people like this, who think that it's okay to hate another human being because of their color, if you know people who think it's okay to murder or harm or speak to another human being who's black and brown in a derogatory, negative, and violent way, and you don't speak out, you're just as responsible. You're just as responsible for that type of, crime against humanity, because that's exactly what it is. It's a crime against humanity that animals wouldn't even do. And so I highly encourage you, if you know people like this, it's not just enough to distance yourself away from them. It's important for you to let them know that this is unspeakable and wrong. It's your duty. It's your responsibility as a human. And you cannot call yourself a humanitarian or a person who is about positivity and high vibrations and, love. You can't call yourself that if you don't speak out against those type of acts of violence, those type of thoughts, because thoughts become actions. And so my condolences goes to another black or brown family, who's having to bury somebody for a senseless, disgusting act by a senseless, disgusting human being. And so I just want to encourage everybody to put more love in their heart, and to be careful out there in the streets today, because, the unfortunate thing is not as safe as it needs to be. And so that goes back to the importance of supporting each other and building our neighborhoods, because if we don't have the proper type of security. We don't have the proper type of protection. And when acts like this occur, people think that there's no retribution for it. You understand? Like to even have to say they need to be held accountable is an atrocity, in my opinion. We shouldn't even have to have that conversation. So, again, my condolences goes out to his family, man. It is an atrocity against humanity. And, we have to have these conversations, because if we don't have these conversations, guess what? We'll become desensitized to it. It'll become just another black man dead. And so it's really important that we have to protect each other. And we have to do that every minute of the day now. Not just when we're, feeling threatened, but we have to do that even when, we're just going out for a jog to get healthier. So I'm going to get off my soapbox, but I just felt the need to come on here and have a conversation around it, because I'm just really disgusted, man. I'm disgusted by, acts like this. So, and, a large part of it is because people are condoning the lower level of behavior, meaning they condone the little slick things that people spit out of their mouth in private conversations. When you condone that later act of violence. You really do. So make sure you're protecting yourselves and, staying safe out there in many ways other than the ways that we typically should. So I'll turn some comments back on. But yeah, man, my condolences to his family, man. I can't imagine losing somebody. So, losing somebody during a time like this, I can't imagine it, man, in that way. Like, it's just unspeakable. So, I hope that this can be. I hope this will be resolved very quickly. So, Jamaican says, do you think people of color will come together as one, or supporting and uplifting our own race? I think it's very important. But I think you look at it from a standpoint of, you have to start that individually. And then it inspires other people. It's just like, for instance, like with the detox. I don't have any commercials or anything for my detox. Most people who do my detox, it's because somebody did it and then they felt great and they inspired somebody else. So I think the coming together will come in that very same way. Like when you come together closer with your family and your friends and you make it back what it used to be, like how we used to have dinner together, how without cell phones, like it's the small things that matter the most. So I think it's very important that we do. And the support of each other, because coming together and supporting ourselves on our journey is very important. So yes, it's very important, and that's my hope and inspiration that will happen, or aspiration. How's it going, Tashanya? How you doing? Yeah, and so with that being said, I want to thank all of you for all the support I've received since I got back here, man. The support has been amazing. And like I say, even though I had a huge reservation about moving back to the States, what I can say is that, I love what I do, and I love doing what I do. So I don't necessarily regret it. It's just that in these times, it's just very, very, very difficult to deal with. So, yeah, exactly. We got to bring back family reunions and Sunday dinners and all that kind of good stuff, man. It's very important. And this conversation is not about divisiveness, because the truth of the matter is I don't believe in taking on the philosophy of somebody who oppresses me. I believe that you use intelligence, you use love, you use light, and you do things differently. And that's what we have to do. We have to do things differently, man. Because it's obvious that the system is not going to support, our safety and protection. So, but that's why it's so important that we support each other. And again, like, life is hard enough. Like, life is difficult enough with just the regular trials and tribulations of life. And so supporting each other in our journey called life is imperative, man, on many levels. Supporting each other mentally, emotionally. I was just talking about this under a comment that I posted something. I was just talking about this under a comment. Like, somebody was under a post of mine saying, hey, like, your detox costs too much. And, like, I see those comments, here and there. And, I just never respond to them, because I don't know where people are at in their journey. It may be that they're saying that because, right now they really can't afford it. It could have been, my detox could be $10 and they still can't afford it, to be honest with you. But, I had a follower who came and commented to the person and did it in a very loving way, and just said that, what do you value in terms of your health? Like, because we spend more money on this than cable, and we have to pay for cable every month. So how are you valuing your health to say that it's not worth it? And, so negativity will come. And when it does, like, you have to be prepared to push yourself beyond that. But we have to be supporting each other along this journey, because it is not an easy journey to transverse and matriculate life. So. But, like, a lot of times, like, people will say, like, what do Black people need to do about, being murdered by, police officers and being murdered by other white citizens? I always tell us, like, that is an issue that they need to take up with themselves. Because the real issue is that it's people who do things like that, they hate themselves. and they're projecting that hate out on us. And so, you know, this is not me saying that all white people are like that, but the unfortunate thing is not enough people speak up when something like this happens. You know, people stay silent when things like this happen, and that is an act of silence is still an act. So how's it going, ATL Biz Dev? So I see you got a lot of comments on here, but you know, living your truth, living your love, man, because you know, every day is not promised, and living your strength as well, because every day is not promised. We really have to take care of ourselves better. How's it going, flying my stomach? How's Hawaii? So I'm gonna get off here, guys. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Be safe out there. Peace, love, and light to everybody, and blessings to you all. And be safe in these, you know, crazy times. So I see you guys going. All right, awesome. Flying my stomach. Good stuff. Let me know how the journey goes. All right, cool, guys. So you enjoy the rest of your day, and until the next time, Godspeed.